Hi all, today we are going to start with our environmental studies classes. So in this session, we'll be learning about Introduction to Environmental Study, its multidisciplinary nature, scope and importance, as well as concepts of sustainability and sustainable development. So the main objectives of this session will be to know about the environmental study, to understand about the multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies, to understand the concepts of environmental studies and the concepts of sustainability. After this session, you will understand what is environmental study, its multidisciplinary nature, the scope and importance, as well as the concept of sustainability. So over to the session. Before learning what is environmental studies, we need to know what is environment. Environment is nothing but the surroundings in which we live. It is derived from a French word environ, which means encircle or surround. As a layman, we can see the definition as everything that surrounds and affects the living organism is called an environment. So if you look around, you can see living components, non-living components. So an interaction and an interrelationship between these components together form the environment. As per the Environment Protection Act 1986, the definition given is the sum total of water, air and land, the interrelationship that exists among them and with the human beings, other living organism and material. So this is the definition given by the Environmental Protection Act 1986. It nothing but states that there is an interrelationship between the living and non-living components wherein which we live. Coming to the next session, that means what all does environment consist of? Environment, as we said, it consists of living and non-living components. The living components are known as biotic factors, whereas the non-living components are known as abiotic factors. If you look around or in your surroundings, you can see that there is an interaction between the living components and the non-living components. That is, there is an interaction between the biotic components as well as the abiotic components. Because of this constant interaction between them, the life sustains in the earth. So these components are in a dynamic state. That means it is in an active state such that any slightest change can affect each other. If there is a change in the biotic factor, it can affect the abiotic factor and vice versa. And it also means that we cannot isolate one factor from the other as it is interdependent. So when coming to the biotic factors, as it has been earlier told, it includes the living components, wherein which it includes the plants, animals as well as microorganisms. When coming to the abiotic factors, it includes the non-living component, which includes water, soil, temperature, nutrients, etc. This picture shows how the abiotic as well as the biotic components are interrelated with each other. Now coming to the components of environment. The components of environment can be divided into four: atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. Now let's look into each one of them. First, let's look into the component of environment, that is the atmosphere. Atmosphere, as we know, it is a mixture of various gases, water vapors and subatomic particles that entirely covers the earth, extending outward several thousand kilometers. When talking about a mixture of gases, it includes gases such as nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, krypton, xenon, and other pollutants. Along with these gases, it includes water vapor and subatomic particles. So all these together forms the layer known as atmosphere. When coming to the structure of atmosphere, this atmosphere is divided into different layers, which includes troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. When talking about troposphere, troposphere is the lower portion of the atmosphere. It extends up to 8 kilometers at the pole and 16 kilometers at the equator. On an average, extends up to 10 to 11 kilometers from the Earth's surface. The temperature in this area or in this layer decreases at the rate of 5 to 7 degrees Celsius per kilometer. Strong vertical air movement is responsible for rapid and complete mixing in this layer, that is the troposphere. Next is stratosphere. It is a layer just above the troposphere and extends up to 50 to 55 km above the troposphere. Here the temperature remains constant and then it starts to increase with the increase in height. The ozone layer is found in stratosphere. The protective layer of the earth, that is the ozone layer, is found in the atmospheric layer called as stratosphere. Next is mesosphere. Mesosphere is the layer seen just above the stratosphere. It extends up to 80 km. Here in this layer the temperature decreases slowly with altitude, that means with height, but then sharply increases up to 75 degrees Celsius. The next layer is thermosphere. Here the temperature increases rapidly with increase in height. Heating of this air is primarily due to the absorption of solar energy. Within this layer, there is a layer of charged particle known as ionosphere. So the layer of charged particle ionosphere is seen in the atmospheric layer called as thermosphere. And the last layer, which is called as exosphere, it exists above the ionosphere and extends up to 2000 km above the earth. This layer is almost airless and empty and also contains hydrogen gas in ionized state, and here the temperature is very high. And this figure shows what all components are present in each layer of the atmosphere. Now let's look into the second component of the environment, that is hydrosphere. Hydrosphere is the total amount of water found on a planet. A planet hydrosphere can be liquid, vapor, or ice. Hydrosphere comprises of all forms of water body on Earth, including marine, which includes ocean, seas, fresh water, which includes rivers, lakes, ponds, and groundwater resources. About 70% of Earth is covered by water. 97% is in the oceans and seas, 2% in the glaciers and ice caps, and only 1% of fresh water is available for the human consumption. When coming to the next component of the environment, that is lithosphere. Lithosphere is the rigid outermost shell of a terrestrial planet or natural satellite. In simple words, we can say or define it as the rocky outer part of the Earth's surface. Lithosphere is derived from the word sphere combined with a Greek word lithos, which means rock. So in this layer, it contains resources like minerals, organic and inorganic matter, and to some extent air and water. The main role of lithosphere is to produce food for human beings and animals, as well as The soil, that is the site of decomposition or organic waste, is also seen in this layer, that is lithosphere. The next component is the biosphere. Biosphere is also known as ecosphere, and it refers to all the regions on earth where life exists. The life supporting resources are available from the biosphere. It is the part of earth where the living organisms exist and interact with each other and along with the non-living components. Activities that happen in biosphere. The living organisms interacting with each other in biosphere and sustain their life. The waste products in gaseous, liquid and solid form are discharged in biosphere. The sustaining and the assimilative capacity of the biosphere is tremendous but not infinite. The system is in operation for millions of years but now showing stress due to the impact of human on environment. So this is a picture that shows the components of the environment, that is the atmosphere, the lithosphere, hydrosphere and the biosphere, and how they are interrelated with each other. Now when coming to the next heading, that is man and environmental relationship. Man is the only living organism capable of modifying environment according to the need. Man has started hunting animals and cutting trees for his basic needs to modify his lifestyle. To increase his comfort, he started distributing each and every component of environment, which lead to large-scale deforestation, increase in quantity of carbon dioxide due to burning of forest, and crop waste are early examples of cause of pollution. So because of the over exploitation, there is signs of way in which environment is degrading. Now let's look into the impact of technology on environment. It is not that the technology has always negative impact. It has positive impact as well. When talking about the positive impact of technology on environment, it includes water treatment plants that help us to reuse dirty water. Wind turbines helps to reduce the need of coal, electric and other natural resources. To improve lifestyle and safety of human life, as well as improve the environment of this planet for the future, technology has helped. The science of sewage treatment is probably the greatest environmental achievement of mankind. When technology has positive effect, at the same time there is negative effect too. When talking about the negative effect, we can divide the negative effect of technology on environment into two, that is direct effect and indirect effect. Direct effect includes accidents in various industries, release of pollutant affecting human health, exhaustion of resources and changes in landscape, nuclear pollution, etc. Indirect effect, these effects interfere with the vital services supplied to humanity by natural ecological system, wherein which it includes uses of fossil fuel causes air pollution, greenhouse effect, acid rain and global warming. When further talking about the negative effect of technology on environment, we need to concentrate on the depletion of ozone layer, which is the protective layer which protects life on earth from damaging UV radiation caused primarily by CFC emissions from aerosols. Excessive use of pesticides and fertilizers is decreasing the inherited fertility of soil, which makes it difficult for the plants to grow. The sea level rises due to melting of ice caps in Antarctic region due to global warming is frequently disturbing the coastal areas. Exploitation of resources leading to exhaustion, as well as testing of atomic bombs may cause volcanic and earthquakes. Till now, we have studied what is environment, what does it consist of, its components, how technology affects both positively and negatively on environment. Now we are going to look into environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is the overall lowering of environmental qualities due to the damages caused by both natural events and human activity in basic structure of the environment at local, national and global level, adversely affecting all living organisms including man. It is nothing but due to the natural activities as well as human activities, the quality of the basic structure of the environment is affected, which in turn affects all living organisms including man. Environmental degradation arises due to consumption of natural resources by overpopulation of the developing countries as well as wasteful overconsumption of resources by developed countries. Now when coming to the multidisciplinary nature of environmental study. What is environmental study? Environmental studies is nothing but the scientific study of our environment and our place in it. In other words, we can say that it is the study of environmental issues. It has a broader coverage than environmental science and includes social aspects of environment also. It deals with science where necessary and also include the study of physical and biological environment. Other than physical and biological environment, environmental study also include cultural and social factors and their impacts on environment. When looking into the multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies, we can see that environmental studies can be applied in the fields of ecology, biology, chemistry, atmospheric science, oceanography, geology, archaeology, anthropology, sociology, history, political science, engineering, economics, as well as ethics. Now, when we look into the scope of environmental studies, it includes to get awareness and sensitivity to the total environment and its related problem, to motivate the active participation in environmental protection and improvement, to develop skills for identifying and solving environmental problems, to know the necessity of conservation of natural resources, to evaluate environmental program in terms of social, economical, ecological and aesthetic factors. Now if you look into the environmental career opportunities, we can see a large number of environmental career opportunities offered by this environmental studies. Why we can see a lot many career opportunity? Because of its multidisciplinary nature. The career opportunities are seen in hydrologist, environmental consultant, conservation officer, scientific officer, environmental health officer, charity administrator, nature conservation warden or ranger, and so on. In general, we can see that career opportunities of environmental sciences is included in the private sectors, which include business, consultancy and law. The career opportunities is there in the government organization or the public sectors. Career opportunities are there in the non-governmental organization, as well as career opportunities can be also seen in international agencies, also in academic sectors and in social entrepreneurial sectors also. Career opportunities of environmental studies is seen. Importance of the subject. Till now we have got an idea of what is environment, the scope of environment, the components of the environment. and the environmental studies. But actually, why are we learning this subject? What is the importance of this subject in the present day world? That is what we are going to look into. Today, the world is facing numerous environmental problems, ranging from local problems to global problems. These problems can be solved only when everyone cares for the environment. For that, everyone needs to be informed about the causes, consequences, and remedial measures of different environmental problems. In order to achieve this goal, environmental studies or sciences is promoted and taught at different education level. That is why we are also learning environmental studies. Importance of this subject can be described in terms of various objectives that it fulfills for saving the environment. When talking about the objectives of environmental studies or EVS, the objectives of environmental studies include awareness, knowledge, attitude, skill, and participation. When talking about awareness of environmental studies is to know about environment and its allied problems. When talking about knowledge, it is to acquire basic understanding and experience about our environment and associated problems. When talking about the attitude as an objective of EVS, it mainly focuses on the environment and active participation in its improvement and protection. And the next objective is the skill, wherein which it is used to identify and solving environmental problems. When talking about participation, it is to provide opportunity to be involved in resolving the environmental problems. Till now, we have learned about what is environment, what is environmental studies, its scope, its career opportunities. Now we are going to look into another topic called sustainable development. Before moving into what is sustainable development, we need to know what is sustainability. Sustainability refers to the ability to maintain or support a process continuously over time. Environmental sustainability occurs when natural resources are kept preserved. Keeping this in mind, we can now look into sustainable development. Sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. The concepts of sustainable development includes control of pollution, reduction of excessive use of resources and conserving resources, recycling and reuse of material for waste minimalization, using cleaner fuels and technologies, development of good mass transportation facilities to reduce air pollution by using effective environmental management tool. Through all these aspects, we will be able to conserve the present resources for the future consumption. Now let's look into the 3 pillars of sustainable development. The 3 pillars of sustainable development are social sustainability, environmental sustainability, and economical sustainability. When talking about social sustainability aims to preserve social capital by investing and creating services that constitute the framework of our society. It means to preserve future generation and to acknowledge that we can have an impact on others and on the world. Next, when we talk about economic sustainability, it aims to maintain the capital intact. That means if social sustainability focuses on improving the social quality, economic sustainability aims to improve the standard of living. Next, When we talk about the environmental sustainability pillar, it aims to improve human welfare through the protection of natural capital such as land, air, water, minerals, etc. The initiative and the programs in associated with the environmental sustainability ensures the needs of populations are met without the risk of compromising the needs of future generation. Now, when talking about the environmental ethics, it includes the earth exists for the benefits of humanity and we should love and respect the earth. We do not have the right to take all the earth's resources for our own use. All species have intrinsic right to exist. We should consume earth's resources in moderate amount, allowing all to share and enjoy these precious resources. We should express our gratitude towards plants and animals since they provide us with food and various other necessities of life. We should not steal from future generations their right to live in a clean, safe and resourceful planet. We should believe or follow various religious or ethics that give positive lessons about our relationship with the rest of the living beings. So these are the ethics of the environment studies. So at the end, we would like to suggest: be nature lovers, go for nature trails and treks, visit sanctuaries, national parks, bioreserves, initiate or participate in various environmental programs, follow the 3R principle: reduce, reuse and recycle, promote carpooling, encourage tree plantation which include the indigenous species, be responsible citizen, avoid littering, keep our city clean. So these are some of the small initiatives that we can take in order for keeping our environment clean and for protecting it. So thank you. That was all about today's session. Happy learning.